our webinar regarding planning organizational training programs around ITIL version 2 to version 3. Thank you for joining us this morning. I will start by introducing our agenda for the morning, for the next hour or so, and we'll turn it over to one of my colleagues, Bruce Levin, to take us through the core of our presentation. To start with, particular webinar is to answer a common question that we get these days from many of our clients, and that has to do with the question around the possibility and the appropriateness of moving from ITIL version 2 to version 3 if there is a program already underway or if there's one to be evaluated. So we thought that would be a good topic for a webinar to share with our constituents during this 1 hour together. And Bruce will walk us through a series of key discussion points around relevant items of interest on this particular subject, as well as share with us the latest development in ITIL version 3 qualification scheme that in essence defines the certification criteria and qualification for individuals who are interested in becoming more qualified and certified in the ITIL framework. So with that, let me go ahead and turn it over to Bruce, who will walk us through the discussion for the next 50 minutes or so. Let me also suggest that please feel free to enter your questions in the chat box throughout our discussion. Stephanie, one of my colleagues, will be able to go through those questions about 50 past the hour, and we will answer as many of those questions as we can. And also I will interject and work with Bruce as we work through some of the key concepts to make sure that all the questions and all of the key concepts are examined in thorough detail. With that, let me go ahead and talk about Bruce for a moment. Bruce is a colleague of mine who's been involved with IT management for over 15 years. He's been involved in the delivery and engagements around ITIL implementations for approximately 7 years, previously at the University of San Francisco, and now as a professional trainer and consultant in the ITIL and IT service management space. And he's got extensive experience both in the training as well as implementation aspects of ITIL. So with that, Bruce, please go ahead and start us off on our discussion.
Great. Thanks, Hamid. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Good morning, at least here from San Francisco. And I think we arrived here together at a exciting and a confusing time with the ITIL development. Exciting because there's lots of great new stuff to think about, and of course confusing because it throws a lot more into our planning and our considerations for adoption and upgrade and training. So I think you'll find this presentation very rich. One of the things that I really like about the slides we put together is that when you're considering moving forward with ITIL, you may be an executive and you want to consider the return on investment of moving forward. You may be a line manager, you may be a line staff person, and so you may be interested in building a business case to present to executives. And I think you're going to find a lot of good material as we move through these slides in adoption trends and benefits, training options, etc. So with that said, let's move on to the agenda slide. And so that was our introduction. And here we move to the agenda slide. As I said, we're going to look at adoption trends, reported benefits, where training fits in. We're also going to examine, I think necessarily, in the role of training, the role of adoption, benefits, where to go, as you see the next point, when and how to make the transition between V2 and V3 to V3, and what are some of the key differences. What are some of the key certification courses? There's a nice slide on suggested paths for different roles in an organization, and that hints at the next bullet point, which is mapping training options to stakeholder groups. And then to close out, we'll talk about training options. What's the right fit for different organizations, online, classroom, and workshops. So what you can expect here is to take away some of the global trends in ITIL adoption, what benefits people are seeing. I don't think we'll see surprises other than that the benefits just continue to increase, which is it's exciting for us in the business, and of course it's exciting for those running IT organizations to see success in their efforts. So where does training come in? Where does certification come in? The V3 Qualification Scheme. If you're moving from V2 to V3, how do you navigate that? And then how to best take advantage of a multi-channel delivery approach, meaning classroom, workshops, online, and supplemental materials. So let's continue on. Please let me know if the slides are not moving on your end. Of course, on my system here, they move very nicely. So the first slide that I'm looking at here talks about ITIL adoption trends. And of course, I'm not going to go through all the numbers, but I'll point out a few key metrics. I probably don't need to say much about the chart on the upper left-hand part of the screen, in that it shows a steep incline or I should say increase in ITIL training and certification adoption. When you look at the exams, there's some overlap between the two charts, but it also shows you worldwide versus North America. On the upper right hand, under exams, when you see 1993 to 2004, you see approximately 170,000 total exams taken. And I'll just skip 2005. It's significant, but to keep us going, when you look at 2006, you see almost an identical number for that year, considering a comparison with an entire decade from 93 to 2004. And so that is very, very significant. And as Hamid mentioned, I spend quite a bit of time traveling, mostly North America, teaching ITIL, all different types of classes, but the predominant class is the foundations class, mostly V3 in the past year. And I see a huge jump in many ways. And just to give you a few points, several years ago, I think if you took a room full of interested students, who may not have known where they were headed and what ITIL was all about, you might have asked questions like, what is change management? How many are familiar with service level management? And a few hands would go up. Now when I ask those questions, almost all the hands in the class go up. And so the terminology and the understanding, the adoption in the broader culture of this, the conceptual framework is really taking hold. And so, I'm seeing greater class numbers than I ever have before, and I think these statistics really drive that home.